Yo, what's going on, man? It's your boy, I Love Your Visuals, man, back with another tutorial. This right here is a special request. Shout out to my boy Dream Visuals. He asked me to do this for Premiere Pro, and I said, hey, why not? I don't really use Premiere Pro like that. Usually use Final Cut. So, I'm just going to get into it. Today, we're going to be doing color grading. We'll talk about settings for your profile, like for your camera and stuff like that, and settings within the software itself. And we might get into a little bit more stuff, but for now, we're just gonna stick to the color grading. So, and you see that, it's already set to how I want it. Most of the time, shoot an S-Log. If you got profile settings on your camera, shoot an S-Log 2, S-Log 3. It just flattens everything. ISO is set to 800. Can't go no lower, only can go higher. That's good sometimes, but not all the time. If you don't have profile settings in your camera, just go to contrast on your camera. Well, look for the color settings on your camera or wherever it might be located, and just turn down your contrast all the way, saturation all the way, and that's just gonna leave it flat. So you can come back and you can color grade it the way you want to. Let's go ahead and get into it. Gonna crank up the contrast. That just adds like the dark tones, cinematic vibes. Usually what I do. If you turn down the exposure a little bit too much, you could, lose quality, or it just depends. Like if it's dark, like really bright outside, you can turn it down all the way. But if it's just like mid, then you can turn it out just a little bit, just a smidge. Usually, if you don't want it too bright, like the background, you just kind of got to play with the highlights, which is basically like the brightest area, or anywhere where there's some light is. But in this case, it's the only thing that's holding the image together. So right now, the only thing I can do is turn down the exposure just a tab. We got it on -3 black, so our -37.3, and we're gonna crank up the vibration. That just adds like the color to it. So yeah, and from there, let's just unlink it. Just right click, hit unlink, delete the audio. We can play, you can tint it if you want. It just adds like a certain tone to it. And it's gonna, sometimes if it's too bright, I just bring down my exposure just a little bit. And yeah, that's how you do that for that certain particular scene. So cinematic, then you play with this, it just adds that nice little pop to it. So yeah, always use your curves as well, man. Curves, your basic color correction first, and then your curves. So, and boom, you got a nice little picture. And yep. And like I said previously, like you can copy and paste this by hitting Windows, holding Windows, hitting the C, and then Windows Alt V all together. Mac is Command C pretty much, but so let's see, we got another shot right here, and got the rockstar hands going. And I'm just gonna drag that in here, and to do slow motion, I think you hit Command R, Windows R as well. So we're gonna turn it down to about, I don't know, 75% maybe. Yeah, 75%, and optical flow for smooth slow motion. And then you're gonna see the little red rendering thing. Hit I on your keyboard, and then at the end hit O, and then click enter. It's gonna render that out, so it's gonna be a nice smooth slow motion, just like that. Clear it in and out when you're done, so that way it just doesn't stay fixated on this section. And like I said before, if you want to copy the same effect, say you want your videos to look, well, that certain scene with that certain lighting and a certain color grade, you want it to be applied to this whole particular scenery that you shot in. So it might change, it might vary depending on like what section you move to within that area, but lighting looks the same to me. So Command V, Command Alt V, Windows Alt V, Windows. Boom, got the same picture. If it's too dark to you, if you don't like it, then you can play with contrast. Bring the contrast down a little bit. Bring the shadows up so you can see his face. Or if you don't want to lose none of the dark tones and stuff like that, and your last option would be crank up the ISO. But then with the ISO, you have to bring down the highlights. But if you like it just the way it is, just crank up the exposure, make it brighten. Next to that, we have, let's try something a little bit more challenging maybe. We'll have a nice church scene, beautiful church scene that I shot. I have yet to put that video together. Now this is just music videos and videos in general. I can command control V on that. Same effect, you know. It works all the way around. Like that color look I just did works all the way around. And to get that image, all I did was play with the tint a little bit, exposure, the contrast, the highlights, and the color curves. Now say you want to change the color of the trees. So cool. You want to play with the trees, cool. And go to hue, saturation, curves. Change color, anything, just go to hue. Grab the little drip icon. I'm gonna click the grass. The 3 dots indicate the colors I can change of that scenery. Mainly you want to play with the 2 on the right, because the 1 on the left changes everything. Like it's like a whole tint. So let's see. See, it makes it greener, as you can tell. It makes it a little greener, and then it makes it orange. But you don't want it, you know, where it's only partially showing. So let's see. And this changed the color of the house. Now let's play with the last tool. With the first tool, you see it just changes the color of everything, which is pretty dope though, honestly. Changes the color of the leaves and the brick house. Gives you that nice violet color. Other stuff in here, the saturation. If you want like a, which is a cool image that people rarely use. If you want like a flat tone image on certain sections, then you play with this. And as you can see, it grays out the house but leaves the grass green, which is pretty dope, I think, in my opinion. And I think you can drag these 2 down. As you see, you get the house is brown and the grass is pretty, like, it's pretty gone. I think that's a dope color. But I mean, something like this I think you got to do over and over just to get it right. But you wouldn't see me playing with it too much, honestly. And let's see, next image over. So this one is already set to its own. Now I'm shooting in like, what, Cine 4 maybe. Usually I shoot a Cine 4. I can color grade it my own. That's if you have a profile camera. Somebody just put me onto Cine 4 and I figured like, hey man, this is dope. Well, I think this was S-Log actually. S-Log just, like, you know, gives you a flat tone if you want it flat, and that's still on your saturation, your contrast being turned down. S-Log just allows you to fully color grade it. If you don't want to do all the hard work of color grading, then your best bet is Cine 4. That, and I think that's those are the only 2 profiles that I would see myself using. I have to experiment with the other ones. I have to get back to you on that. Okay, these are a little bit like grayish, so, and that's just because of how the leaves are. Just add some color to it. See, if I shoot them flat, then hey, you know, go back and color grade it. But I kind of like the gray leaves, pretty dope. So we're just gonna add saturation, and that's just playing. That's adding a little green to the leaves, but more so color to the house, the structure in the background. And you don't really gotta do too much because it's already bright enough. You don't want to darken it because then it's just, honestly, it's your preference. Just turn it down just a little bit, and yeah, so we can go back to the curves like I said before, just to add that extra image to it. But let's see, and there you go. And then we're gonna slow it down as well to about 75. I said Windows R or Command R on Mac. So about 75. We don't have to in and out this one because there's no red indicator up there. And I think that's pretty dope, dude. Moving forward to the last one, which is the music video itself. And with this, like I said, man, since it's all in the same area, I don't really have to do much. I can pretty much use this whole color tone for the entire video through that music video, and it will look perfect just like this. You know, like, might be a little bit dark. Just like I said, don't worry. Turn the exposure up. Maybe ease off the contrast. And I know I had the the curves. And like I said, you do that, it just adds a little bit more highlight and sharpness. Bring the dark tones up. There we go. Cool. So his skin is going to be orange because the ambience above us, like the light was just emitting orange light pretty much, and that was like just not even my light, school light. And there you go. That's how you color grade, man. If you have any more questions or concerns, if you didn't follow through properly or something I could have did better, please let me know below. Before we log off, make sure if you're shooting in 4K, it's going to be a big file. Now, with this, I think you go to sequence. Let's see. Give me a second. Let's see at original. Nah. You can actually change this. Project settings. Gosh, I think I got it like playback resolution is in full. Damn, hold on. Now I gotta look.
Settings. And in here,
That's what I did. Why sequence? Why the hell sequence settings not available? I don't know. Ah, here we go. Alright, so I'm shooting in frame size 3840 2160. Now, if you want to make your project a little smaller, you might want to do 1920 by 1080. But if you want to keep the size of your 4K, 3840 2160, frame size 29.97. Width is 1920 by 1080. Maximum render quality, maximum bit. I don't really know too much. I don't know. I guess it just enhances the quality, honestly. I don't really use Premiere Pro like that. I usually use just Final Cut, but Premiere Pro is dope in my opinion for like effects. So yeah, cool beans. So we're gonna go all the way here. We're gonna hit Windows A to select everything, and then we're gonna hit Windows or Command A, Command M or Windows M to export. I don't think that's it. Yep, that's what it is. Command and Windows M. So boom. So I have mine on match high bit rate H264, because if your shit is like 600 gigs, 200 gigs, depending on whatever it is you shot, that's gonna be a hard save. That's gonna be hard on your computer. So you want your size small, depending on how much you've done. Sometimes if I did like a whole 2-3 minute video with effects and After Effects, it might be around 4 gigs maybe. But you don't want it like 20 something gigs. You don't want it like excessive. So with this basic video settings, everything is just, I just hit match source. Hard encoding, that's the performance that I do for my computer. I don't know what kind of computer you run. VBR 1 pass, just 1 pass. You can do 2 pass. It double checks everything, make sure everything's straight, renders everything out twice. I do target bitrate 10, and everything else I just leave on. And yeah, I just export just like that. And yeah, if this was helpful for you, man, make sure you subscribe. Like I said, drop a comment, let me know, leave a like. If you would like me to do some more tutorials, there's other things I can do, effects, After Effects, everything, man. You just let me know in the comments below. Appreciate y'all for watching. So I love your visuals, and I'm out.